Welcome to Human Resource Management. Today, we will talk about the growth of international business. As you can see, the background depicts the Singapore skyline. Also known as the Lion City, the country ranks number 1 in the ease of doing business in the international business world. Today, we will first talk about globalization. What is the concept of globalization? Similarly, what is international business? We will try to trace the history, the growth of international business. Lastly, we will examine some present-day challenges and considerations of international business. So, what is globalization? What does the concept of globalization entail? Globalization has been defined as the increased interconnectedness and interdependence of peoples and countries. It is generally understood to include two interrelated elements: the opening of international borders to increasingly vast flows of goods, services, finance, people, and ideas, and the changes in institutions and policies at national and international levels that facilitate or promote such flows. From an economic point of view, globalization can be defined as the increasing interdependence of world economies as a result of the growing scale of cross-border trade of commodities and services, the flow of international capital, and the wide and rapid spread of technologies. It reflects the continuing expansion and mutual integration of market frontiers, and the rapid growing significance of information in all types of productive activities and marketization as the two major driving forces for economic globalization. In other words, globalization is manifested through increased trade between different countries. And as the trade began to increase between countries, the demand for business grows as well, resulting to increase in foreign direct investments, which means the investments made from one country to another country, either in the form of establishing business operations or acquiring business assets or shares. Same goes with capital flow, or the movement of money from the purpose of investment, trade, or business production. Labor migration, wherein certain types of jobs are more in demand in some countries than elsewhere, like the Philippines, which continue to benefit from remittances from its overseas workers. Lastly, advancement of technology, allowing immediate communication and transfer of information now more than ever. Because of globalization, international business likewise flourished. So, what is international business? International business encompasses all commercial activities that take place to promote the transfer of goods, services, resources, people, ideas, and technologies across national boundaries. Today, international business is ubiquitous, meaning it is found everywhere, from the gadgets like cell phones, laptops, to the food and medicine we consume, to the clothes we wear. These are all web of products and services produced in a way as a result of international business. Thus, international business touches every aspect of our lives wherever we are in the world. It is intimately related to economic, social, and environmental welfare of people around the world. So, how did international business come about? What led to the growth of international business as we know it today? International business activity has long existed since the earliest civilizations. We can trace early form of international business to the trading activities of the ancient Egyptians and Phoenicians. During the 15th century, there was a cross-border activities of banking families such as House of Medici in Europe, And in the 17th century, during the era of colonization, trading companies emerged such as East Indian Company, Hudson Bay Company, and Dutch East India Company. In the second half of 19th century, foreign direct investment, mainly on raw materials from colonial territories, and the modern multinational emerged. Through the later 19th and 20th centuries, international business became more complex as the companies expanded across nations, aided by new transportation and communication technologies such as steam train and telegraph. Without a doubt, the development of international business was disrupted by first half of the 20th century by the two world wars. Thereafter, during the 1950s, the post-World War II era witnessed a surge of international business activity. The US was the dominant economic force. Yet, this was far from being a global phenomenon since the world was still divided into two opposing ideologies, Western capitalism and Eastern socialism, a separation that lasted for more than 40 years. Nevertheless, international business under the Western capitalism system flourished. From here on onwards, a number of international institutions were established to facilitate the growth of international trade and investment, such as International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and the World Bank, or what is known as the Bretton Woods Agreement, which was established to construct an international monetary system. The 1940s to late 1960s was a period of stability, economic growth, and international integration. MNEs or multinational corporation emerged. European MNEs developed post-World War II, followed by Japanese MNEs in 1960s. The post-World War II period of economic growth came to an end in the 1970s with the collapse of the Bretton Woods system, the oil price increases, and recession in the Western economies. As a result, the 1970s onwards moves towards international production and international division of labor and sophisticated supply chains. Export processing zones were established in many developing countries. The 1980s ushered in a new era of economic integration with the rise of neoliberal economic policies, which privatization and deregulations. In the 90s, offshoring and outsourcing of labor developed as a result of new technologies. In recent times, we have also seen significant elements that have advanced international business, such as the formation of the World Trade Organization or WTO in 1995, the inception of electronic fund transfers wherein transfer of money can happen almost real time, the production of the euro to the European Union, the rapid pace of technological innovation that facilitates global communication and transportation. Lastly, we have seen the last few decades of dissolution of communist markets and the rise of China, further opening up the global economy. Along with the rapid growth and development of international business comes challenges and considerations affecting its future. While international business continues to grow, however, wealth disparities among nations remain vast. As a result, wealth and power are still polarized to certain superpowers, most notably the United States and China, controlling majority of global trade and production. We should also not to forget the rapid development and its negative effect to the environment. Recently, we have also seen the rise of artificial intelligence, which results to displacement of labor and human capital. As a final note, we should also consider the challenge and questions posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. What would be the effect of COVID-19 to international business and globalization as well? Will this lead to a world less open, prosperous, and free? Will this crisis lead to the end of globalization as we know it? Will the crisis accelerate the shift of power and influence from the West to the East? Will this lead to a more China-centric globalization? These are all some of the questions being posed to all of us as we shift to the new normal and find ourselves in the crosshairs of history.